Welcome back everyone to another video. Today I'm gonna talk a little bit about the meta as I experienced it in the first day after the miniset release. So I was rank 100 legend and like I lost 7 and only won 3, so the meta, because I hadn't played yet and I haven't adjusted at all to the meta, I was just looking what it is, so I ended up at around 150 legend. That's the region of ranks I'm talking about, the meta here. We don't see too many changes here, to be honest, in this high legend meta. We see, or what I saw in the 10 games were 4 Dragon Warriors. So they play a few of the new cards. I tell you in a second which ones for each of these decks. I saw 3 rogues, like Steel, Aggro, Rogue, whatever you want to call those. They are now also running the Imbue package. So I guess you could call them Imbue rogues if you so wish. Then I saw 2 control decays which were basically unchanged from what I saw before as well. And 1 Aura Paladin, which does have a new aura. I think it's new, at least I have never seen it before. But that didn't seem very strong, so I'm not sure this will stay around. It didn't look like a deck that we will see a lot of later on. So let me quickly talk about what these decks have now actually included, so that this is not a 2-minute video as well, and what you could look out for. So let's start with the Dragon Warriors. They now have like the new dragon, which is a 6/9 elusive, which can come down as early as I guess turn 3. If you have the coin, it costs 4 mana if you have another dragon in hand. And if you're playing Dragon Warrior, you are very likely to have another dragon in hand. So this is like a pretty high tempo play. It doesn't do anything immediately, but turn 4 playing a 6/9 is insane. Like we had this meta a long time ago where we had the 4 mana 7/7 from Shaman, which was overloading you, and this was already considered very strong. So this is 6/9 is actually a little bit better stats, and also it's elusive, so that's really, really strong. And then there's the other one, which is the 3 mana 2/5, which gives every minion and I think weapons as well in your hand +2 attack. You don't play any weapons in this deck currently, so that is kind of not used. But yeah, having your minions having 2 attack is obviously not bad, especially on something like the Great Dracorex, which does attack damage to the entire opponent's board. That can be quite nice. There's one more dragon which doesn't really see play, or at least I haven't seen it, which is the 1/3, which gives you spell damage when it's damaged. The second most played class right now is Rogue, at least in my experience I made here. Rogue basically plays a lot of the same cards it used to as well, which are these cards which steal your minions or your cards from your hand, and like Rifter, stuff like that. On top of that, they now run the imbue package, which consists out of a 2 mana spell dealing 2 damage, and the 2 mana 2/3, and the 4 mana card which does 4 damage if you imbue it often enough. That's actually probably the only one you really care about, because that's something you can play around reasonably. Or you should at least be aware that it exists, because it has lifesteal. So those are the 3 cards I saw in Rogue now new. Especially also when we talk about Rogue, it's important to note the hero power, because once it's imbued, they have a lot more resources, of course, because they get random minions each turn, which are cheaper as well. So they are a lot harder to outlast now than before. The control decays, they basically play exactly the same as before. At least I haven't seen any difference. And then we had the 1 Aura Paladin. There the main difference is that they have they do have the 2 mana Aura now, which is acting like a wild growth, so it gives them 1 more mana crystal for 3 turns. And also they have the aura which summons a 6-drop minion, which is pretty strong if you can get it out with the legendary. But overall, they're very dependent on having that legendary to really do something, and they have to get there, because that's, I think, 8 mana. I'm talking about the fabled one. I'm not sure what he's called. So nothing really new to play around there either. You have to try and beat them before turn 8, basically. And you can beat them afterwards as well, but it gets a lot harder. So that's what I encountered on this first day. Let me know what you played against. Maybe it's very different at different ranks. I wasn't too successful yet because I also haven't changed my decks, so I haven't included any of the new cards, so I can't really expect to be successful. I did notice that the Ravenous Cliff Dive Demon Hunter, for which there's no new support, so there isn't really any new cards I would add. That still seems to be viable, so I played that 5 games. I only won 2, but I probably could have won 3, and in one of them I got extremely unlucky. So it's probably still very much playable. At least that's what the impression I got. Tomorrow we are gonna see some games from that deck, the Ravenous Cliff Dive Demon Hunter, and I hope to see you for that video.